maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Speaking of,
What?
let's move back. Oh,
Are
go
you
ahead. Go
ready
ahead.
for Renee to shake the league up like that? To
Oh,
get
go
all
ahead. Hey, do it. Do it. Pull the trigger, Renee. What you got to lose? Hold on. No. I wasn't thinking about Washington. I was thinking about a Washington, but now Washington.
Oh, see, and I know which one you're thinking of, and I do not think they repeat.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel, man. You know, so I see all the comments. It's like, Rashad, I really like the content. You know, it's nice to see, women's basketball. But, like, I like a little more diversity. Can we get a different perspective? Can we get some women on? I said, look, I've been working on it behind the scenes. I've been working on it. You already seen the thumbnail. You already seen the title. So you already know what's going on. But we just had to get it going officially. So I reached out to some people who reached out to some people who reached out to some people who reached out to some people. And we got one. We finally got one, y'all. We finally got one. First of all, let's give it up. Let's give it up for Black women. Let's give it up, Black women. Let's give it up, Black women. By the way, from Connecticut, by the way of the 313, Detroit State. Detroit.
You know how we do. What up, though?
Shout out Swing Cash. All the way from ESPN, the worldwide leader. Give it up for Terrika Foster-Brasby. Terrika, how you doing?
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for saying my name right. What?
Oh, yeah, you know you got to do that. Just it takes 2 seconds to go on YouTube and look at what.
Thank you. I've gotten to the point now where I just always send out like a little pronunciation guide. That's just where I am now. It's where I am with life now. I have to send out a pronunciation guide.
Exactly. But I mean, come on, man. Like, come on, guys. We have to do better. We have to do it better as a community, et cetera, et cetera. I remember the time I learned this lesson was with Kimberly Martin, ironically with ESPN now. And I spelled her name wrong about 3 times.
You forgot the other E.
Yeah. I spelled it wrong. And then Shalice Young called it out. And then I was like, oh, my bad. We fix it now. And then she was like, that's still wrong. And I was like, oh, man. And like from that moment, that was 2017. I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, you got to get it right.
I appreciate it.
No problem. But I guess, hold on. Let me see if there was anything else I wanted to shout out before we got into it. I think that's it. All right. Okay. Detroit shouted them out. All right. You shouted everybody out. We got them out the way. Speaking of shout outs, let's give it up for history. Starting off with history. Shout out to Renee Montgomery. Giving Renee Montgomery her flowers. Getting it done. Coming in, just doing it off rip. The first broadcast team with 4 Black women. It's simply amazing, including, my homegirl, Autumn Johnson, get in the spot. And I'm proud of y'all. She didn't respond to the text yet. She didn't respond, but I understand. I've seen Twitter. Twitter got a billion messages and the Facebook a billion messages. So I get it, Autumn. But congrats, I'm proud of you. Once again, shout out Black women. And one thing, it was like when I saw it was, some people might be like, oh, the women only got it because of demographic. And it's like, that's literally the exact opposite with everything else in the world for Black women. So it's like, like this dude is the broadcast team is only 4 white guys because they're 4 white men, so why do you have a problem when there's 4 Black women? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I guess just, first of all, your thoughts on that, obviously, as someone who works kind of closely to LaChina.
I am super excited for everyone on this broadcast. I don't know Autumn very well, but we're Twitter friends. So I was super excited for her. Same with Tab. But Angel and LaChina are my girls. I've known LaChina for 6 years, 7 years now. And every and anything that she does, I know if she has a hand in it, it's going to be successful. So that's right. That right there is like, yes. Same thing with Angel. Angel loves basketball. She loves the game. She's such a fun personality. So Renee knew what she was doing. That's how you come in hot, Renee. Come in hot, just like that.
Oh, got to. And you saw what she did today with the assistant coaching staff.
Exactly. So that's what you do. If you're gonna take over a team, you're gonna become that executive leadership to set the standard. That's the standard you set.
So salute to Renee Montgomery once again. And congratulations to those women making history. Like all of them are qualified. Angel's been doing this for a long time. LaChina's been doing this since I was about 10. you know, not 10 LaChina, not 10.
I was like,
but you
wait,
get it.
well, how old does that make me?
Not 10 LaChina, but you get it. China, like you said, great woman. You know, did an interview for me or whatever when I was, you know, in college or whatever at a Dream game, and I was like, China, can I grab you? And she's like, yeah, no problem.
Aww.
Always helps out, just nice people, good people all around. And Tab has always kind of been around the Dream, so it's nice keeping her in place as well and making sure that she was good. So, you know, congratulations to those 4 women. And I guess moving on now to you, giving you your flag. Everybody give it, hey! There we go. Some of y'all think y'all know sports. Some of them, yeah, I know sports, but she knows sports.
Oh,
get it right.
Boy.
Get it right. And Terrika, I want to give you your flowers here on this channel for starting the movement of giving out the league passes to the fans and everything like that. Just start off, where in the world did it, you know, just come up in your mind of this idea of growing the game and passing out the league passes?
Ironically, it didn't. So I was on Twitter on the first Sunday, last Sunday. I was on Twitter and I saw a tweet that someone retweeted. So it was really Alexis Robinson, and her name on Twitter is Lex Marie. She gave away a league pass to a young journalist in Detroit named Amani. And so Amani retweeted like, hey, I just want to say thanks to Lex because I've got my league pass. She donated a league pass. And so someone, another WNBA fan, her name's Amanda, she responded to the tweet and was like, this is such a dope idea. I'm going to donate a league pass. Let's pay it forward. And I said, okay, well, I got 2 league passes that I'm going to donate. I'm with you. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. Let's play it forward. And I retweeted it. And then that retweet turned into another retweet and turned into another retweet. The next thing I know, my tweet had like 100-something retweets. And all of a sudden, people were like, hey, you know, can I inbox you? Can I DM you? And I was like, sure, DM me, inbox me, what's up? And they were like, yo, I want to contribute. So I'm following just the whole let's pay it forward movement. And people are now coming to me asking, can they donate to me for me to help like give out the passes for them? And I'm like, sure, or I don't care. Like the more the merrier. And it went from a couple people to like 30 people. It went from a couple league passes to like over 100 league passes to now we're almost over, if not over 300 league passes. Like it's crazy. And I'm still getting donations. People are still sending me money. Like, can you give this out? And I'm like, yep, go ahead. When you send them to me, I'm going to put them out to the people. So really it was Lex. Thank you, Lex, for starting the movement. I just took what you did and raised it. And ultimately we are all out here just trying to get exposure for this league.
Right. And speaking of exposure, I guess, you know, not to jump too far ahead, but, you know, I guess going back a little bit, you being from Detroit, the Detroit Shock, one of the better, you know, franchises in the league, gone, you know, moved to Tulsa, moved to Dallas, you know, gone. Like, you know, you think about Miami gone, Sacramento gone, who are some other teams, Houston gone, with all these teams gone, Charlotte, yep. Cleveland, with all these teams gone, you have a case like this past week with the Dream. Like I said, like I've been following the Dream. Other teams I haven't really been able to keep up with yet. And that's a whole nother issue, which we're going to get to later on. But how important – what I was saying with the Dream. With Lindsey Pulliam, All-American talent, gets cut 2 weeks after she gets drafted. Why? Because a kid who isn't drafted in the first round has, like, you're less than a 50% chance of making a roster because there's just not enough roster spots. Gabby Williams gets traded, you know, and it comes down to just didn't have enough roster spots for her in Chicago. You know, how important is the idea of supporting the league to help kind of push expansion and the reason for expansion and stuff?
It's extremely important, especially in a year like this year where there were like some 50 girls who entered into the WNBA draft this year. And this year's drafts, believe it or not, was a little deeper than I think most of us expected. There were some people, some some women who fell to the second round, who could have easily have been first round lottery picks, like easily. You know, maybe 2 months ago, we all were saying, hey, the number one draft pick is going to be between Charlie Collier and Natasha Mack. Natasha Mack falls way down in the draft. You know what I mean? No one was talking about Aari McDonald. And then the NCAA tournament happens and Aari McDonald goes number 3. To Atlanta. Who saw that, right? So I say all that to say that because of the depth it's going to get deeper every year. It's going to get better every year. There are still freshmen and people who haven't even touched the collegiate court yet that are going to be good, you know, and they're now having these conversations of why women's basketball players don't come out after 1 or 2 years. But where are you going to put them? There are not enough teams. There are only 12 spots on the roster. Like, there has to be something, because otherwise you're going to continue to see players that have a lot to contribute to the game of basketball. Just today, Ty Young got cut from Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, Ty can ball. So needless to say, we really need to start considering, you know, investing more into expanding this league, because we don't want to continue to see players who really have a lot to offer this game end up falling by the wayside because there's just simply nowhere to put them.
Exactly. And, you know, staying with that of Ty Young, like Lexi Brown was in the conversation of, is she going to be the 11th? Like, why is this even
why are we pushing?
11th player, Lexi Brown? Are we serious right now? Like, exactly. Come on, dog. Like, she started last season in Minnesota. Like, what are we even talking about right now? But
exactly.
It just is crazy. It's crazy. I think a lot of the issues just kind of go back to money. And it's like, you know, so for something that you're doing right now, and something that, you know, the popularity of the orange hoodies last season, and then, you know, the new jerseys this season. I guess we can move on to that. You know, just with the new jerseys looking good, how important do you think that is, you know, for the growth of the league?
Super dope. Honestly, you want to have people continuing to talk about the WNBA. And the more that they talk about it, the more it becomes an investment. The more you get invested in something, the more you want to see it succeed. You know, everyone wants an ROI whenever they, you know, if I buy the league pass, it's because I want to see good basketball. And I believe that they're going to put a great product on the floor. So anything that's going to get you talking about the league in a positive way. I mean, Twitter was ridiculous. Social media was ridiculous when those jerseys dropped, okay? Like, we had clubhouse rooms dedicated straight just for talking about WNBA jerseys. That's just not something that we've seen in the past. So all of this conversation, all of this hype that we're having, especially with it being the 25th year, this is good. This is good for the league. This is good for exposure. We want people to keep talking about it. I already know, listen, I already ordered my Connecticut Sun jersey, the Rebel jersey with the Cossack across the top for the Connecticut.
The blue ones. The blue ones?
The blue ones, yes. Mm-hmm, yes. Mm-hmm. I've already ordered mine. I'm waiting for it to get here. But there are like 3 jerseys, and I'm that person that I don't really wear jerseys from, that's not my team. You know, I don't really want to rep that's like not my team, but I can't, like, I'm still sitting here thinking like I need a Stranger Things jersey. I gotta get a Chicago jersey because Candace Parker, that black is fire. I'm probably gonna need a Mercury. Like, this is me. Like, so imagine how many people, you know, who are just into fashion, they trying to match up the jerseys with their sneakers, and like this is just, but that's what we need. That's the kind of excitement that you want to continue to see around this game. So I was excited for that.
And then I guess the same thing with Kaiser Gondrezick. You know, obviously there was kind of a little bit of, well, not a little bit, a lot of shock. She went 4th, and she was supposed to go 2nd round, 3rd round. She goes 4th overall, but I mean, like you say, the ROI already, you know, is kind of blowing up, and, you know, blowing up more than she even was like her 5 years in college over at Michigan and West Virginia. So, you know, I guess just How do you feel about someone like a Kaiser and a Dejournay Carrington as well? You talk about Connecticut, you know, kind of just growing that brand.
I am totally on board with Dejournay Carrington winning Rookie of the Year, and I just feel like Connecticut. I said it, and I am riding with it, and I'm just riding with it. So, one, to talk about Kaiser, It was a shock. It was a surprise. But then when you think about the needs of the team, Indiana kind of needed everything, right? So it's not like they could have went wrong with who they chose. you can't go wrong from a position standpoint.
Except for
center, right? Because they got Tierra. They got Tierra.
I'm counting, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Tierra. You're absolutely correct. And honestly, they've done really good at guard play. I mean, they've got Kelsey Mitchell, who's a baller. She's been balling since Ohio State. So it wasn't Victoria Vivians is still there. She's another one who's a baller. So they definitely have some pieces. And I think Marianne will put together a great team. Coach Stanley will put together some really good balanced rosters that will help make that team better than where they've been in the past. But I mean, Kaiser, listen, you can't go wrong with her. She averaged 19 points a game in her last season in West Virginia, and she's a person that you can make a face. Like you can make her the face of a franchise, and she's already embracing that. Same with Dejanay. Dejanay, I think it was a perfect pickup for Connecticut, especially under the circumstances that Alyssa Thomas is not going to be playing this year. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. You cannot replace an AT is like, listen, you're not gonna find another AT 25, okay? But
she came back in the playoffs with half a shoulder. I'm like, she already
had half a shoulder before the playoffs even started. Like you've been playing on half a shoulder for 2 years, sis. Like, and you still came back. Like it was ridiculous. But I say all that to say that if there's anybody who can bring some energy, if there's anybody who can pull it all on the floor, give you that toughness, can give you that defensive presence that Alyssa Thomas can give you while also making you play her, making you understanding she can create a shot for herself, that's Dejanay Carrington. So I've already sent in my email to Coach Miller to say, listen, I'm not trying to pick your roster, but I need Dejanay on that roster. Thanks. Signed, a Connecticut Sun fan.
You know, I guess, you know, before we go full on into the deep WNBA talk, let's stop by college a little bit, starting off with Nikki Collen. Nikki Collen, one of the better coaches in the league, some people might argue. Former coach of the year a couple years ago. The Dream, of course, been down a couple years, but they ain't had nobody. So, you know, this year they get some pieces, and it's like, okay, the Dream might be up on, you know, they're getting 1 year older, Kennedy Carter, et cetera, et cetera. And then she leaves. Like, and it comes like a couple weeks after the GM gets dismissed for what reason? And it's like, is somebody doing something behind the scenes we don't know about? Like, what's going on in Atlanta? I guess just, you know, first reaction to Nikki going to Baylor from a Dream perspective. And then we can get into the Baylor perspective later.
Shocked. Completely shocked. I did not see this coming. Ironically, the day before she left to, it was announced that she was going to Baylor. The day before, we were just on a training camp press conference with her, and she was giving us all this great information about how great the team was, and you know, and I mean, I guess I get it, right? That's what you're supposed to say, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're still doing a job. But now all I'm thinking is you managed to get through that whole press conference knowing that at any moment you was about to be out. Like at any moment you was going to be out. So that was very interesting to me. I did not see it coming. Interim coach right now, Mike Peterson, he's got his hands full. Like he's in a situation where he's got to make decisions that I don't know if he, you know, was prepared to make. As a head coach, he has to make those decisions now. What his style is, what his game plan is going to be, for me, it's going to be yet to be determined. So, you know, you have, you know, a roster full of guards, young. You know, you added a veteran player in Odyssey Sims over this offseason. That's going to be extremely helpful for those young guards that are coming in. Speaking of Ari McDonald, who we were just talking about. So it's going to be interesting for Atlanta because this is a year of transition. And I don't think that the head coaching position was a position that they were looking to also include in this year of transition. And now you are literally going to have yourself a brand new team from the bottom, like from the top down. So it's going to be real interesting to see what Atlanta is going to do and what the Dream are going to put on the floor come against my Connecticut Sun come Friday.
For sure. And I guess like from a Baylor perspective, first, I mean, what do you think it means for the state of the league when one of your top coaches in the league, and I'll give Nia's perspective on this later. Shout out to Nia Sat. But what do you think it says about the state of the league when one of your top coaches, former coach of the year, leaves you for college? You know, and I want to go back also to Taya Cooper. You know, she tweeted, being in the W is weird because, you know, like you go from college private jets to flying commercial as a pro. And, you know, Natalie Chonwa a couple years ago, excuse me if I butchered that, I probably did. She was talking about, you know, we only get one sweatsuit. Like when you get to the league, like in Notre Dame and private school growing up, she's got so much, you know, and now she has to kind of depend on Nike or whatever to get her stuff. What do you think things like that say about the state of the W?
Yeah, those are all fair points to be raised. I mean, listen, I don't have to tell you or anybody else that some colleges, look, they making NBA money out here. Like, you know, if you at Alabama, you ain't hurting. You know what I mean? I don't. What do you even need the NFL if you play football in Alabama? You got everything, right? So state-of-the-art facilities, you got all the uniforms you need.
You get a Lambo when you commit. Everybody who commits
get
a Lambo.
You know? Like, you feel me? They buying you whole restaurants down there. You get a whole McDonald's franchise. That's you. Thank you for your services. So, like, I totally get that. And I don't think this situation is one that's extremely different. I think for Nikki, it was about stability, number one. You know, she's got children. There's a little bit of a different stability that you have in the college game than you have in the professionals. It's funny because I've heard coaches say all the time, you get hired to get fired, right? So like you're at a team and you're at a team based upon how you win. And if that doesn't work out, there is no room, you know, for you to kind of make adjustments at the professional level as there are in the collegiate level. So when you get to a school like Baylor, you have, again, the stability aspect. There's the money aspect. I'm pretty sure, you know, her pockets ain't hurting. It's not like she lost nothing.
Hey, if Moki got $100 million, hey, how much you think her replacement got?
Moki got 20. What she got? Like, I think her contract was 22 and a half over 8 years.
She's getting something.
Like, you getting paid. You getting LSU paid you. So I know Baylor is going to pay you too. And then on top of that, it's not like she's going to a team that's not primed to continue to be a contender team. Like, Baylor has been the top of the Big 12 for so long. I can't even remember the other team that was, you know, maybe it was Texas, but it's been so long that they have been at the top tier of this conference, and they still have players. Yeah, there were a couple players that wanted to enter the transfer portal after Kim Mulkey, you know, signed on with LSU. But for the most part, I mean, they still got Nalissa Smith. They still got Queen Egbo. Like, she still has an opportunity. I think the biggest challenge she's going to have to overcome is simply the challenge of knowing that she's coming behind a Hall of Famer like Kim Mulkey. You know, like anybody that's going to come behind someone who has the kind of clout, who's achieved the level of success that Kim Mulkey has, you know, that's the criticism, you know. People are going to compare, even though they shouldn't. You know, Nikki's going to be Nikki, and she's got to bring Nikki to Baylor. I would not, the moment that she tries to be Kim Mulkey is the moment that she'll fail. And I think she knows that and recognizes that. And besides, can't nobody be Kim. Can't nobody be Kim. Kim is a character on her own. Nobody can be Kim. So
let me get rid of this dying mask.
Okay, like nobody can be Kim. So yeah, I just think that I don't think that it said anything negative about the WNBA. In her circumstance, I think it was more so for a personal choice. It was just a better opportunity for her. And I kind of look at that the same way that we see players or people who are wanting to get into coaching and they go to the NBA versus coaching in the WNBA. Neo Ivy is someone who comes to mind. Love Neo Ivy. She played at Notre Dame, coached next to Muffet McGraw for years. And then she got an opportunity to be an assistant coach with the Memphis Grizzlies. And of course, there were head coaching opportunities available at the time. I want to say the Sparks position was open before Derek Fisher had taken it, but there was opportunities to coach in the WNBA. And there's nothing wrong at all with coaching in the WNBA. But for her, it was an opportunity that presented itself to be in a space that she, was better for her. So that's just kind of how I read this.
Yeah, and just to go off of that, like I said with Nia, what she said, shout out Nia Sapp, doing big things.
Love Nia Sapp. Yep.
But she was talking about how this is probably her watching her back. Their owner, you see the GM got the boot. GM got the boot a couple weeks ago, and then you're looking at you. Okay, all right. If you ain't won in a couple years, like you said, we got 80 billion guards. Why did we sign 2 more guards when we already had 10 on the roster? Why did we do that? And Odyssey Sims, it's funny you brought that up because Odyssey, she is tired of it. At Media Day, she said, y'all keep talking, how is Atlanta going to play with all? Y'all, how about we get to the first game and then y'all can say that? I get it, Odyssey, but like when you have 10 guards on an 11-person roster, well, 13, I'll say it, let me say, 8 guards on an 11-person roster, people are going to ask those questions, and 5 and 6 of you are really good guards that all deserve playing time and all deserve to start. Right. And people are going to talk about that. But, you look at kind of where's the fit going to go going into the season, and it's a cloud of mystery. So you didn't win the last couple of seasons. GM just got the boot, and you're heading into a season of uncertainty of how you're going to make this work with the lineups, and if you guys are, much less if you're going to win. It could go really good for the Dream. I see them as a dark horse to make a semifinal push this season, but it could also go really bad for the Dream this year. So if it does, and Nikki got the boot, like you said, she's at kids, she's kind of left high and dry. So this, what Nia said, it could be her watching her back of, all right, things might not go well for us. Let me protect my back while I still can.
That's absolutely it. I mean, she was in a 6-year contract. And you mentioned it, the GM had just got the boot. And on top of that, like, coaches I don't think that she was fearing for her job per se, but at the same time, she wasn't in a situation where she could afford to make mistakes. She wasn't in a situation where she could afford to allow people to grow into what they're doing. Nah, you only had one really good season, and that was your first season there. After that, stuff started to go downhill. Last year, Atlanta was in the news for all the right reasons, but it wasn't necessarily because they were out here balling out of control, getting ready to win championships.
Well, shout out to Kennedy, though. Shout out to Kennedy, though.
Shout out to Kennedy Carter. Shout out to Hollywood. Shout out to my girl, Courtney Williams. Today's her birthday, May 11th.
Yeah, happy birthday, Court. Happy birthday, Court.
But, I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, let's be honest that Atlanta still has some work to do when it comes to being a top contender team. And granted, Benijah Laney was on the team last season, most improved player. She literally balled out, but they lost her. She's in New York now. Like, if there was just a lot of changes. And so with all of that being said, I ain't mad at you, Nikki. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. I ain't mad at you.
Right. And I guess, staying in the world of college basketball, you being up there in Connecticut, and then having, y'all give it up for Fresh Perspectives. Fresh Perspectives, being the first Black woman on here to talk about women's basketball in so-and-so amount of time. I can't remember the last time, but being that, what is your perspective of the attention that Paige Bueckers gets?
Wow, that is such a loaded question because I truly and honestly think that Paige deserves the attention and the respects that she gets. I really do. I live in Hartford, Connecticut, so I am immersed in UConn. Rightfully so, because I live in a place where UConn is the most prominent sports team in this area. It is what it is, right? Where the problem comes into play for everyone else is that even if you don't live in Connecticut, when it comes to women's basketball, you are fully immersed in Connecticut. UConn. So for other fans or for those fans who are really trying to get a good glimpse of what the parity in the women's game looks like, I can empathize and understand how it seems that the attention is so focused on UConn that you miss other players and that you miss other things. But that does not mean that Paige Bueckers was not a phenomenal basketball player, because she was. She did things that no other freshman was doing. She put on a show for everyone. And she's also human. She's also someone who still has to grow in this game. She's also someone that still has to get her weight up, literally. Like, we want to see you get a little bit bigger, Paige, because when you get in the league and you balling up against like a Chelsea Gray, for example, she is physical. She gonna knock you down. So, you know what I mean? So like, and so over the season, there was a Twitter debate because people were saying, I can't remember who it was, but someone tweeted, it was like a trainer or something like that tweeted that
Alex Bezel, I believe that's how you
pronounce it. Yes. So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
yes, that she's one of the top point guards in the game right now. That she could go into the WNBA right now and be like one of the top five.
Top five, yeah.
Listen.
You on rocking with Pistol Paige Bueckers.
Listen, I don't mean no harm, but I'm saying you're not top five. Like, that's disrespectful. So I say all that to simply say I do think that the way that she moves with the ball, the way that she's able to get open and stretch the floor, she is somebody who literally is Showtime, and she will be Showtime once she gets into the WNBA. And it makes sense that she would be the one to spark the conversation about freshmen coming out, after 1 year. Add Caitlin Clark to that list. Like, she balled at Iowa this year. So it makes sense that we're having these conversations. But I don't want anyone to think that what Paige is doing and correlating that to the national scene that UConn gets and think that means, well, Paige really isn't as good as advertised. It's just because it's UConn. No, she's as good as advertised.
For sure. And staying along those same lines of, you brought up Caitlin real quick. So with that UConn-Iowa game, obviously probably second most hyped game of the year behind maybe UConn-South Carolina. So, it goes into it. And week-long discussion, people were talking about it the entire tournament. It happens, and of course, two 19-year-olds look like 19-year-olds for the first time all season. And the first thing that I saw a lot of people jump to was kind of subbing that we were hyping up two of these girls because they were white. So that's what I want to know from you. Do you think? What do you think about that with Caitlin and Paige and the attention they get versus? Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
No, it wasn't because they were white. It's because they were good people. And it's really just as simple as that. If you had paid attention, if anyone was paying attention to the women's basketball landscape from a collegiate perspective this year, you would know that these two young women were at the top of the list, and it was for a purpose. What Gino, at the beginning of the season, Gino Auriemma did not have the kind of expectations that he ultimately ended up having for that team. And I know that sounds weird because you think that, UConn always has these. No, when you really look back at it, UConn doesn't always have like top recruiting classes. They aren't always in the list of having, the number one or the number two recruiting class. And no, he gets ballers from everywhere. And he makes them even better than what they are. And we start to know their name, and we're like, dang, like, you know what I'm saying? We out here like, dang, let me get some more in them Paige games. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you act. And so here you have Iowa, Caitlin Clark. Again, she's not someone that came into the season super overhyped. Like, you got to know her throughout the course of the season, and you're like, dang, like, this girl is really good. And there weren't a lot of Black girls playing at Iowa. But if you want to put race into it, let's not forget the great C. Vivian Stringer coached and took an Iowa team to the Final Four. So with all that being said, it has nothing to do with it had absolutely nothing to do with them being being two white girls. They were simply two very, very good and well-deserving basketball players this year. And I would have loved to see Caitlin play a little bit better against UConn in that game. But, I mean, it kind of was what it was. I think the game of the year, without question, was UConn Baylor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but that was like after it was played. It was like after.
Yeah, that was after the fact. That was after the fact.
And everybody
talked
about it. But like, I'm talking about pregame hype. It was probably South Carolina, UConn, and then and then the Iowa game headed into it and stuff. But I guess but before we wrap up college, this is the last college topic, and then we'll move on to W. So with all the other teams in college, Stanford, I bring on UConn fans and South Carolina fans, and like. They just are. It's like the best thing. And then also Tennessee people, we had them on and stuff. But like, it's like everybody's kind of just overlooking the fact that the two finalists were two people from the Pac-12, and Stanford won, and Haley Jones is only a sophomore. I mean, and no one's kind of acknowledging that fact. I feel like until you're dethroned, you are the champions. How do you feel about Stanford and some of the other teams that people should be on the lookout for next season?
Absolutely. I think if you think that Stanford is going away, they're not. Tara Vanderveer is one of the best coaches to ever coach this game of basketball, and she always has Stanford in a position to be a contender. People are sleeping literally because they're in the Pac-12 and they play on the West Coast. So you're literally sleeping. And that is the issue. Like, that's the problem, that you don't get a chance. Too many people don't really get an opportunity to see what these Pac-12 teams do and why they are always in the conversation. But Stanford is as good as advertised. Not only will Haley Jones be coming back, but you also, we just heard today that Anna Wilson is going to be returning for her 6 years. So that's going to be big for them. Anytime, and Tara knows how to recruit. Fran's still there. I have to believe that she's going to get better. They had her coming off the bench this year. Look, listen, yes, they lost Kiana Williams, but you never count Stanford out of it. And clearly you can't count out Arizona either. Adia Barnes is not going anywhere. And now that the league
She got a bag too. We talked about she got a bag too.
Listen, okay? Like, do not sleep on the Pac-12. I got to give a shout out to my girl Cindy, because Cindy is one who she does play-by-play, and she's an analyst for the Pac-12 network. And she is one who goes so hard for the Pac-12. And she told me the week before, I'm calling an all Pac-12 final. It's going to be Arizona and Stanford. And I was like, whatever, you're just being biased. It's going to be South Carolina. They're going to win. Girl, Cindy was right. So
shout out Sydney. Shout out Sydney.
Cindy watches Cindy is totally Pac-12, and she knows what she's talking about. And so my bad, Cindy. I didn't understand. But to answer your question though, don't sleep on Stanford. Don't sleep on Arizona. And honestly, I wouldn't even sleep on UCLA. Like, they're not a squad that you should sleep on them either. So
I'm asleep. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sleep on UCLA.
Don't sleep on UCLA. It's a reason that Michaela Onyenwere came out in the draft the way she did, and she's going to New York. She's going to be bombed because they got her ready. She's going to be nice. And I think that that's a team that you always want to keep your eye on, because they are always somewhere in the mix. So keep your eye on UCLA, people. Remember where you heard it first.
Wow. Yeah, that's new. That's new, especially without Michaela, because that was the main person I was watching every time I watched UCLA. But also, shout out to Maryland, shout out to Louisville. Those my teams I'm looking at. And then, you talk about potential replacements for the Dream. I'm looking at Joni Taylor over there at UGA. Her husband's already on the staff as maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Speaking of, let's move back.
Are you ready for Renee to shake the league up like that?
Go ahead. Hey, do it. Pull the trigger, Renee. What you got to lose?
Shake the league, Renee.
And speaking of, headed back to the W to close now. I guess we could start off with the finals. What is your finals prediction? What two teams you have?
Wait a minute. I have not gotten that far.
This is the preseason hot takes. Preseason hot takes
for real. I haven't gotten that far, honestly. So if I could pick, and I did this before, if I could pick a final a Final Four. Can I pick a Final Four? So if I can pick a Final Four, I would definitely put Chicago in that category because I just feel like with the addition of Candace Parker, just her veteran presence, I think that they're going to shape Natasha Mack up to be someone that's going to be strong for them coming off the bench.
I forgot they got Natasha. I knew about Hill. And then I'm like, oh, they got
Chicago too? Exactly, Kayla Hill. Like they just have a low. You can never count out Sloot, and Chicago could possibly definitely be in that mix. Okay, so that's there. Las Vegas, they're adding Liz Cambage back. You've got the MVP. Kelsey Plum's gonna be back. Like, come on, guys. Like you've added Chelsea Gray, who is sick. De'Arica Hamby still would not surprise me if she won Sixth Woman of the Year again, because that's just how amazing she is. So there's two. There's two. Okay. 3. I want to say I'm a homer, so I'm gonna say Connecticut.
You're gonna say Connecticut over the. I feel like there's three obvious picks you can go every single year. You went with. So I mean, I have a feeling the fourth one is going to be the fourth one, but I want to know why you. Okay, go ahead. Why did you pick Connecticut over the third obvious one?
The third obvious, is it obvious? I picked Connecticut because for the last 2 years, what has everyone seemed to do? Count Connecticut out. Yep. And in 2019. They went to the WNBA Finals. In 2020, they were a game away from the WNBA Finals. And that was with a half Alyssa Thomas and no Jonquel Jones. Well, this year, they get Jonquel Jones back. They get DB. And anytime you've got DB, you've got a baller. Jasmine Jones still knows how to lead a team and is a defensive. And that's another thing. Their defense is always so on point that they know how to stop everybody. Now, they just kind of start really, really shaky sometimes, and that scares me. But down the stretch, they finish strong, and I will not be on record having counted out Connecticut. Nope, won't do it, can't do it. It's not happening. So there's that. Now, I know you probably want me to say Washington.
I know you're not. Wait, hold on. No. I wasn't thinking about Washington. I was thinking about a Washington, but now Washington.
Oh, see, and I know which one you're thinking of, and I do not think they repeat.
I'll give it up to Terrika, Foster-Brasby. Y'all give it up, man.
I do not think they repeat. I don't think they repeat for a very simple reason. One, they lost Alicia Clark. They lost Natasha Howard, and they added
defense matters. Defense wins championships.
Defense matters. You lost your 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. And granted, you got Stewie, you still got Bird, you got Canada, you've added Candace Dupree, you've added all these offensive weapons that are amazing players. But are you going to stop people? Are you going to stop people? I need to know that. I just need to know that. Maybe the first couple of games will change my mind. Maybe the first few weeks will change my mind, but I am not completely sold that they are strong enough defensively to repeat. That's my concern with them.
Okay. All right. So, wait. You didn't even say the fourth team. Hold on. What's the fourth team?
Oh, yeah, it was Washington.
All right. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's totally justifiable.
Yeah, it's Washington.
Okay, all right, cool. All right. Yeah. Your reasoning for Seattle, it makes sense. It's rational. I'm going to put Seattle on my Final Four. But, yeah, I'm going to go. Should I go Homer too? I'm going to go Homer too.
Seattle, why not?
Vegas. Atlanta.
Ooh!
I'm going Atlanta. I'm going Homer. Atlanta.
Okay.
And then 4. Seattle, Vegas. Who was your first? Who's your first team?
My first team was Chicago.
Chicago.
Okay.
And I got Chicago. I got Chicago, Vegas in the final, and I got Chicago taking it. Candace gets number.
Shut up! Really?
CP3 gets number 2. CP3 gets number 2 this year. And I think the difference is for Vegas, no Angel. You know, you bring back Cam Page, but I think that Angel might hurt. I don't know. It's just like Vegas is one of those teams. It's like, I got to see you win in the finals. They're like one of those teams like always knocking on the door in the finals. Hello? No one answers, you know, so Vegas got to prove it to me. I know that Candace can win. I've seen Candace win, so I'm gonna go Candace. I'm gonna go Chicago wins it all this year.
Of the final four that I have, I could honestly see, and please Connecticut don't hate me for this, but of the final four, I could see a Las Vegas Washington final, and that's with a healthy Della Don and with a healthy Tina Charles. Like I need to see, like, if they have a healthy team, Washington is very scary. Like they're a team you can't sleep on. And so it would not surprise me if they got their second ring in 3 years. But I could see a Washington Las Vegas finals.
Question about Washington. Who do they have in the backcourt? Who's their backcourt?
They have well, God, Natasha's there, not Ariel Power, she went to Minnesota. Alicia, they have Alicia Clark. No.
She's out.
No. Wait, she's gone? She's not gone. Is she gone?
She's out this season.
Oh, she's out. She's out. Mm-hmm. That's right. Damn, that's a very good question. Who am I missing? Outside of Lilani's still there, isn't she? Lilani Mitchell. She's still there.
I think so, yeah. I think so. Hold on. I gotta look that up.
And this year. I think that's it.
Here we go right here. I didn't know Cloud was still on it. I thought Cloud left too.
No, Cloud is still there.
But
she's a forward though. I don't think she's a guard.
Okay. Well, they still have her listed as a guard right here. Atkins, like you said. Let me see who else.
Atkins for sure. Cloud for sure.
Oh yeah, Leilani Mitchell's still there.
Leilani Mitchell for sure, exactly.
There. And then
but
that front court is crazy though. There's no denying that front court. It's that backcourt that's like a question mark for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Whatsoever. You got Tina Charles back there. You've got Elena Della Don back there. Maisha Hines Allen. She plays. I mean, they've added Erica McCall. I think it is over the summer. They can be deep. Mike Tebow knows what to do with a roster, and I know they lost Chrissy Tolliver. She went back to LA this year, but either way, like. I don't count Washington out. I don't. I think the team that's going to be real upset with both of us for not mentioning them is Phoenix.
Oh, Phoenix. They always have the super teams, but it's like, I feel like they should have way more rings than what they have. Like, they're always one of those teams with the super team. Like, they've had a super team for the past decade. How many rings do they have to show for it? So it's
Phoenix is gonna be mad at us for not mentioning them. But I mean,
prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Phoenix. Prove me wrong.
I'm with you. I actually thought last year was going to be Phoenix's year. I was like, yo, this is gonna be the year. And then Diana was balling out of control. But like for me, they just kind of felt so disjointed. It just kind of felt like some pieces were here, but then some were not. Then Brittany got injured and left the bubble early, and then it was just like all over the place for me. And so I don't know. They might have something to say about it this year, though. I might be eating my words. I don't know.
For sure, especially if I picked Atlanta over.
You did pick Atlanta. I was like, ooh, they're strong.
That was a hot take. So I guess, to close, who are some of your surprise teams to watch for in the W this year?
Well, definitely look out for Dallas, right? And
Dallas,
you got to look out for Dallas. Dallas, to me, I've always felt, at least over the last 2 years, that Dallas was just one or two pieces away from being the kind of team that could contend. And I think they may have hit their mark this year. They killed the WNBA draft. They're returning some stars. Mariah Jefferson's more healthy now. Arike, listen, you got the scoring champ. You ready to get it?
Okay.
So. And Vicki Johnson, she wants to run a fast-paced offense. She's ready to take this team to the next level, and I think she has the ability to do it. I think they trust her and they believe in her, and they know that she knows what it means to be a champion. So Dallas is the first team that comes to mind, and I think the second team that comes to mind is and when I say this, I don't mean they're going to contend for a championship. but I mean, they're not going to go down easy this year. And that's New York, right?
Yeah,
They're not.
I like them too. I like the direction they're going in.
I like
Last
the
year,
direction. Yeah.
that was the worst basketball team I've seen in my life.
They were bad.
I've said that a bunch of times. And like, I didn't mean to put you in that spot by saying it while you were on, but that's the worst basketball team I've seen in my life. I'm watching Sab. I'm looking at Sab, you know, Sab taking all the shots. But Sab, she passed everybody, you know, shout out Laser, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Laser. But I'm looking at shout out Amanda, you know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at everybody else running around going on. If Asia Dora can come back from COVID, you know, prayers out to Asia Dora still recovering and stuff like that. You got you a little squad. I like what they're doing, like you said, just in the draft this year. And then, you know, you got, you know, the face of the league coming back too. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
That's exciting. I think Walt Hopkins will be able to do something with what he's got. Last year they had 2 wins. I think they can get at least 12 or 13 this year. And so that's what I mean, like when I say, like, look out for them. Now, I don't think that they are at the point where they can contend for a championship yet, but they are in a much better place, in my opinion, this year than they are. And then adding DeDe Richards, I think she's going to contribute immediately. So I would definitely say look out for New York.
Didn't mention Minnesota tonight.
You know what? We did it.
I was like, and they added McBride. I was like, oh, that's kind of disrespectful. I'm like, you know, I'm thinking of the young teams on the rise, and then I'm thinking of the teams that have always been here. And Minnesota, I didn't mention them. I'm sorry, Minnesota. There's no beef.
But you know why we did it? You know why we did it? Because they're always a team that exudes an amount of excellence that you already know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. See, there it is. There it is.
We're not shading Minnesota.
We know. Minnesota in the playoff. Exactly. We already know. The real ones know. About the link.
They already know.
What I'm saying? So I guess, you know, you already kind of really took my surprise. Obviously, Atlanta. I had them in the semifinal, but Dallas, I'm a big Ty Harris fan. So, you know, she had one of the better rookie seasons last year. LA. Yeah. I don't know about LA. I think it might be but anytime you bring back both sisters, you know, you talk about the front courts in Washington, that's another front court I'm looking at. Okay. And then Jasmine Walker, you had Dejanay Carrington winning Rookie of the Year. I got Jasmine Walker making a good case, a really good case this year.
That's a fair selection. That's a super fair selection. I do though. I'm riding with Dejanay. I just really think this is a prime moment for her. But you're right about LA. It gives me Lakers after Kobe vibes. We're gonna see LA after Candace. What is this era gonna be? How strong will Nneka be able to lead this team without her? And that's no shade to Nneka because she's a beast on her own and she's certainly a leader. And Shanae is my girl. So they definitely can do it. They still got Simone Augustus who can still contribute.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Simone's still in the league. That's no shade to Simone. No shade. Just like, dang,
they definitely still have, you mentioned Taya Cooper earlier. Like, so it's not like they don't have a squad in LA. I just don't know what to expect from them. And I think it's going to take a couple of games for me before I can actually make an assessment on what I think they're going to look like.
I got Jasmine Walker Rookie of the Year. in conclusion with LA, but I appreciate it so much. Thank you for coming on. If you'd like to call anybody out to come on next, who would it be and why?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I would, if you haven't already have you had Christina Williams?
No. I shout her out all the time on here. Girls Talk Sports. Love it.
Yes, Christina Williams would be dope to come on, as well as Ariel Chambers would be dope to come on. Gosh, there's so many people in my mind that I think would be great to talk sports with. Like, is it just any basketball or like WNBA?
Any basketball, but women's basketball is where really a lot of y'all.
My girl Monica McNutt is the bomb. So.
Monica is really having a moment this year. She's having a moment. Her and I was about to say Ari because we've been saying Ari for the past hour, but her and Ari. her and Ari are having a moment this year. They're everywhere. They're killing it. I want to give them my flowers, everything like that. Nia as well, like I said, and then Autumn. For those
Yeah,
two coming up the way they came. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. See, now that's on me. That's on me, cause I know Renee, and I didn't reach out. No. I've been reaching out to folks. Renee was one of them. I seen she had another WNBA interview coming up. I'm like, dang.
Okay.
How did I pass? I know Renee. I can reach out to her. What am I doing? So I'm definitely gonna reach out to Renee's people as well.
For sure. Awesome. Yeah, like this is the moment. This is going to be an amazing season. Everyone's living in their moment right now. And so I'm just excited for all of them. You are right. We've got to give them their flowers while they are still here to smell them and accept them, because they've been in the trenches. Like, they've been really putting on for this game well before everyone else kind of like came in and started putting on for the game. So you definitely want to show them some love.
The WNBA is so important. Am I right?
It's so important, Ari.
But Terrika, Foster-Brasby, y'all give it up. The first one. You saw it first. I've been working since the bubble. Hey, can you come on today? Can you come on tonight? I'm in the bubble. I got, because everybody is like, I don't know if it's like the just the industry or whatever, but the women's basketball community, everyone I know in there has 8 jobs. Y'all all got 8 jobs.
8 jobs. Yeah, I got two stories. I got to finish when we finish that.
Exactly. Y'all all got 8 jobs. So, but, I'll definitely, to finally get you on is, and give you your flowers for the league pass and everything you're doing for the game. I appreciate it so much. Take care. I'm not going to hold you anymore. Have a great night. Y'all be easy. Thank you so much.